Who would win in a fight between the Swamp Thing and Eva 01? This is a question that has plagued mankind for centuries. But before we continue, we have to talk about who these characters are. Let's do that.
Once a scientist named Alec Holland was caught in a fiery explosion in a swamp and then arose as Swamp Thing. Kind of. Depending on which version of the character you look at, the Swamp Thing is sometimes Alec Holland and sometimes as a shambling mass of plant life that has the memories of Alec Holland. Swamp Thing is the embodiment of plant life and the avatar of the green. More into that later, but here's some animes.
Alright, cousins, when our main protagonist, in bold quotation marks, was a wee lad, his mother was turned to a giant alien cyborg. Yep, what a day. His dad didn't like this very much and disowned him. Yep, what a day. I wonder why he ends up killing everyone at the end. Anyway, back to the Eva. Evangelion Unit 1 is a test model Evangelion, but it is the first to be used in combat by Shinji Ikari. So in a very short summary, aliens, now called angels, were sent to Earth, and eventually one called Adam was found in an iceberg and was taken out. He gets turned to a fetus, and his DNA is used to create the Evangelion, except for Eva 1, which is created by cutting off the legs of a different angel called Lilith, and is now semi-controlled by Yui Ikari. Yui Ikari.
In Alan Moore's Swamp Thing book, the Swamp Thing was killed by pollution and toxins coming from a random enemy that never showed up again. This was very upsetting to his girlfriend, but then Swamp Thing learned how to come back to life. It was slow at first, as just a little leaf bud, but over the course of a few weeks he was fully back to his old self again, just in time for John Constantine to show up and say it took him long enough. John Constantine was created just for the Swamp Thing books to allow for exposition, considering how slow and staggered the Swamp Thing speech was. Now that Constantine was here though, he starts training Swamp Thing in how to revive himself faster and faster, and also revive himself anywhere plants exist. Swamp Thing gained the ability to teleportation and regeneration at will, and also that he hates John Constantine, which is something I still haven't learned yet.
Eva 01 comes packed with a progressive knife, which vibrates at an extremely high frequency to cut through an angel's core, and it also may have a rifle or 2 pistols. It can run so fast it can break the sound barrier. It has an ability called Berserk mode, where Yui takes control over the Eva, whether or not it has enough power to be ran. And according to Ritsuko, the head scientist at NERV, this shouldn't even be possible. In this mode, it can move much faster and hit much harder. Even stranger is a form in the remakes called Awakened mode, which is so strong it can reach into the very core of an angel and extract your waifu mom clone.
Oh god, when mom is sexy. Swamp Thing started realizing that when he reconstructs his body, he can make it out of any of the nearby plant materials, constructing wooden legs if he needs to, and even learns how to change the plants that constitute his form on a cellular level, growing fruits, etc. John Constantine was really just using Swamp Thing to an end though, sending him on missions to defeat underwater vampires or whatever. Eventually Swamp Thing stops working for Constantine and discovers his full connection with the green. In DC Comics there are 3 metaphysical colors that construct life on Earth: the green, the red, and the gray. The green connects all plant life, and Swamp Thing was tapping into it whenever he died, resurrected, or teleported around using it. The thing is, though, that the green is protected by an avatar, and each of those avatars eventually join the Parliament of Trees. Real quick, each of the Parliament of Trees have a suspiciously similar backstory to Alec Holland's explosion. These trees include Alex Olson, Albert Hollerer, Tefe Holland, Alan Hallman, etc. Not only are all of their names similar to Alec Holland, but they all died in explosions in swamps and then came back as elementals. Swamp Thing is just the newest avatar for the green.
Now in this video, we have to establish a pilot. Now if it's Shinji, we must assume it would do the things that Shinji would do. Man, I'm just surprised that he got in the damn robot. Shinji would probably have no issues fighting Swamp Thing, despite the fact that he is pretty much a human because he just does what he is told. But he would also fight the way that...
Actually, sorry, should I fix that? Because he had an issue. Yeah, maybe, possibly. Also, you can edit a part in where he, because in one episode there was an angel, but there was a person inside of it, and so he didn't want to kill it. Should I fix that? Should I specify that?
I have the urge to jab this screwdriver into my eye. Should I do that?
But you would also fight the way that Shinji does, which is different from the dummy system, which is some sort of mind emulator of Rei designed to follow orders without fail. So it's really up to debate as to how it would fight when Yui doesn't have control. It also has an ATF standing for Absolute Terror Field, which is essentially a very powerful shield that can only be broken by another being with a stronger ATF. The pilot can control this, and depending on the mode it's in, it can go for extremely long distances.
Now's the time when we compare both of these characters' stats, but for some reason we're going to be using the conventional Care Bear stats, despite neither of these characters being Care Bears.
Caring. No, we're not doing Care Bear stats! This doesn't make sense in a versus fight system. Now, we're gonna use the Transformers one because it actually makes sense, and we've been using the Care Bear one a little bit too much.
Strength. When Gotham City decides to rule in a court hearing that Swamp Thing could not marry Abby Arcane and put her in prison for perversion against nature, Swamp Thing responded by fighting the entire city. He grew to the size of a multiple-story building, the size of a mountain, taking over people's homes and releasing gases and spores that caused the populace to get high.
The Ava is made for rough combat with angels and has been shown to be able to take down said angels with only its bare hands, and is able to lift very heavy things. I'm not going to give you any examples. Shut up. And Ava Zero has been shown to be able to throw a spear as far as the moon, and Ava 01 is even stronger. So...
Intelligence. Swamp Thing's intelligence is debated. He is clearly sentient enough to speak in full sentences, but those sentences are staggered and peppered with ellipses. Although he retains the memories of Alec Holland, the fact that a plant is able to communicate is kind of insane to begin with anyway.
Ava 01 has the soul of Shinji's mom. Yui was a scientist and was a big part in creating the Avas and was a student at Kyoto University, and I think the school is for the smart people, maybe?
Speed. Swamp Thing is connected to the green on a level that allows him to transport wherever he needs to be in a very fast manner, but because he is a plant, he is not used to fighting in a fast-paced manner. His ability to grow his limbs into different shapes depending on the situation is done much quicker than my vegetable garden, though.
Ava 1 can move so fast it breaks the sound barrier. That's pretty fast. Sonic meme. Put in a Sonic meme. That's... A quick Google search shows in order to break the sound barrier, you have to be traveling at least 770 miles per hour. And considering the Ava can do this from a standing position at will, shows an incredible amount of speed.
Endurance. Batman defended Gotham City by killing Swamp Thing with a horrible napalm bomb, combined with herbicides and whatnot, and this did kill Swamp Thing for a while, disconnecting him from the green entirely. The thing is though, he ended up connecting to an alien world, turning blue, creating an entire world's population to stave off loneliness, went crazy, and then went home afterwards, reconnecting with the green and having sex with Abby.
You know, I was God once.
Yes, I saw. You were doing well until everyone died.
Swamp Thing is great, by the way. You guys should all read Swamp Thing.
Most Avas have to be plugged in or else the suit that they're contained in will lose power after 5 minutes. But in the most popular instance of the Berserk mode, the Ava eats an angel and grows its own S2 engine, making it so it can essentially go for as long as it wants. And it can grow back limbs.
Rank. As the avatar of the green, Swamp Thing has an incredible amount of power, putting him as one of the strongest characters in all of the DC universe. Ironically, though, he refuses the call plenty of times and would much rather live in the swamp of Louisiana with his beautiful white-haired wife Abby. Rank is therefore actually pretty low!
The Ava is considered a weapon and has no real rank of its own. Courage! The Swamp Thing has very little connection to pain anymore, being able to revive instantly, withstand having limbs torn off, and being able to fight a multitude of enemies. I don't think much could actually scare the Swamp Thing.
It's unknown if the Ava has any real courage of its own, but what keeps it going is protecting Shinji.
Firepower. Firepower is generally regarded as measuring ranged weaponry and attacks, not melee. Swamp Thing doesn't usually use ranged attacks or any sort of artillery. Although he is insanely powerful, I think if we're being fair, he doesn't technically have firepower per se.
It's not known how much ammo the Ava has for its guns, but it doesn't run out that fast, so I mean...
Skill. And as for skill, Swamp Thing can change his body at a molecular level, growing fruit out of his body, and even terraforming an entire planet with plant-based caricatures of his friends and loved ones just because he was bored! Out of the DC universe, Swamp Thing may be one of the most skilled characters in the field, and out of the avatars for the Green and the Parliament of Trees, Swamp Thing is the best they could have ever hoped for.
The Ava is able to aim pretty well with its gun, and when in Berserk mode or onward, it is able to do many a somersault that the average person cannot do. But maybe they can, I don't know, I'm not asking. I don't know the average person. Stupid.
I know the average person, he's average.
Can he do a backflip when he's like 1 billion feet tall?
Well, the average person is not 1 billion feet tall.
So your question is not only dumb, it's irrelevant. Alright, that's our measurements and our assessment. Who do you think would win? Let us know down in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, comment down below, is Ava01 your favorite anime waifu? No, she's not. It's Rim from ReZero.
Dude, freaking basic.
My favorite anime waifu is a Gretsuko, and nobody...
Bowser?
Bowser. You know, I was gonna stay with the Gretsuko, but then I remembered that I have like 1,000 pictures of Bowser just like kissing people, so yeah, let's put those to use.
Yeah.
Borrow Bowser, bro.
Here's a bunch of pictures of Bowser in the background, make sure to like and subscribe. What the fuck is wrong with me?